But I thought, in spite of all of that, she handled herself so well. She's got so much class, so much grace, and she's fun to watch. Look, for me, it's not about where you're from. I mean, it's about the kind of character you have and how people can relate to you. And I think everyone can relate to Alex, and I think that's what makes her such a special athlete, such a special star. And also, she carries herself very well. That's very important, and it's not easy to do when you have so many eyeballs.
Prakash Amritraj held nothing back following the match. Having witnessed everything unfold on the court firsthand, he was unreserved in his admiration for Alex Eala, and his praise extended far beyond the result itself. For Prakash, this match carried a significance that transcended tennis. It was a testament to character, composure, and the kind of mental fortitude that only reveals itself under genuine pressure. In his eyes, Eala demonstrated all of it at a remarkable level. He was emphatic that this was no longer a matter of nationality or background. Eala, he argued, has arrived at a place where she commands the respect of anyone who truly understands the sport and holds strong character in high regard. What struck him most was not simply how she played, but how she carried herself from the first point to the last, particularly in the moments when the contest grew most demanding. Prakash also drew on a personal memory, recalling a conversation he had with Eala at the Miami Open the previous season. In that interview, she had opened up about the central role her family and faith play in her life. Those words had stayed with him. But watching this match, he felt she had done something more powerful than speak about those values. She had lived them out in real time, under the full weight of competitive pressure. He went on to emphasize what he considers one of the most crucial, yet often overlooked, dimensions of tennis: the off-court life. In his view, how an athlete manages everything away from the court is every bit as important as what they do on it. Based on what he witnessed in her performance against Siegemund, he expressed full confidence that Eala possesses the maturity and patience to handle those demands with ease, and that it is precisely that quality which will carry her to the very top of the sport. He was careful to note that he is not someone who places the burden of expectation on players. But in Eala's case, he made an exception, quietly but with conviction. He is certain, he said, that she is destined to reach the pinnacle.
A little bit to do with the tennis, but then so much of your tennis career and career as an athlete is how you handle the off-court elements also. And she's got so much stuff throwing at her. Balancing all of that is what's going to allow her ranking to continue moving up. She's been doing an amazing job. I don't like to put pressure and expectations on players. Of course, we want our favorites to do well, but she's going to handle.
From the opening exchanges, Eala established herself as the clearly superior player. She was sharp and composed, dictating rallies with clean shot-making, precise movement, and a confident command of the tempo. Every sign pointed toward a straightforward, dominant performance. But the match took a different turn as Laura Siegemund introduced a challenge that had little to do with tennis. Rather than competing purely through play, Siegemund began eroding the flow of the contest. Repeated pauses, complaints directed at the crowd, and drawn-out service routines kept interrupting the rhythm, and every time Eala built any momentum, something arrived to break it. Despite being outplayed across long stretches, Siegemund took the first set, not by overpowering her opponent, but by unsettling her. This is precisely the kind of moment that exposes young players. Dropping a set under such frustrating circumstances often triggers emotional reactions and a collapse in focus. Eala responded in the opposite manner. She did not complain, did not argue, and showed no outward sign of frustration. Her composure alone was already a statement. The pressure mounted further at the start of the second set when Siegemund disappeared for a bathroom break lasting close to 12 minutes. The timing was unmistakable, another deliberate cooling of the match's rhythm. For many players, that would have been enough to shatter concentration entirely. For Eala, it became yet another opportunity to demonstrate her mental strength. When she walked back onto the court, she looked calm, reset, and completely focused. There was no trace of agitation. She simply got to work. From the opening games of the second set, she seized control. She dictated the pace, attacked with purpose, and, crucially, stayed locked within her own rhythm regardless of the continued disruptions around her. Siegemund's attempts to slow the match down carried no weight this time. Eala built pressure steadily, capitalized on key moments, and never let her concentration slip. The result was a commanding 6-3 set that swung the match entirely in her direction. The third set stripped everything back to its essentials: endurance, mental resilience, and the ability to hold steady under sustained pressure. Skill alone was no longer the deciding factor. Eala answered that challenge almost immediately. She looked in complete control of both her emotions and her game. Even as Siegemund continued lodging complaints with the umpire and raising objections at every opportunity, Eala remained entirely unaffected. She refused to be drawn into the drama and kept her focus fixed on what was happening in front of her. That level of discipline, particularly at her age, was striking. As the match stretched beyond 3 hours, the demands, physical and mental, grew heavier. The relentless interruptions added a further layer of difficulty. Yet Eala absorbed all of it with patience and quiet resolve. She did not rush, did not lose her way, and continued waiting for the right moments, exactly as she had in the second set. When those moments arrived, she took them cleanly. Her timing was precise, her execution consistent. Another 6-3 scoreline in the third set completed a remarkable comeback. It was not simply a display of tennis ability. It was a demonstration of maturity and mental toughness well beyond her years. When the final point was won, Eala released everything she had carried for those 3+ hours with a powerful victory cry. It was raw and honest, a reflection of the immense discipline she had exercised throughout. Yet even in that heightened emotional moment, she walked to the net and offered a proper handshake, composed and respectful to the end. Siegemund's response was a telling contrast. After spending the entire match attempting to exert control through disruption, her acknowledgement at the net was brief and hollow. The difference between the two players in that final exchange spoke volumes. It was precisely this contrast that Prakash Amritraj seized upon in his analysis. The result, he argued, was only part of the story. What truly mattered was the manner in which it was achieved and the character that had been on display throughout. For him, what players cultivate away from the court, their mindset, their values, and their inner discipline, is ultimately what determines how far they go.
In spite of all of that, she handled herself so well. She's got so much class, so much grace, and she's fun.
Based on everything he witnessed, Prakash is fully confident that Eala possesses those qualities at a genuinely high level. He went as far as saying that while he typically makes a point of not placing expectations on players, Eala is someone he sincerely believes has the potential to reach the very top of the sport. And his reasoning goes beyond talent. It is her mindset and emotional strength that convinced him. These are qualities that no coach can easily install in a player, yet they are perhaps the most essential ingredients for sustained success at the highest level. What Eala did in this match went far beyond winning. She navigated constant disruptions, absorbed psychological pressure from every direction, and held her composure from the first point to the last. She displayed discipline in how she competed, patience in how she waited for her moments, and genuine respect in how she conducted herself throughout, regardless of what was happening on the other side of the net. According to Prakash, it is precisely this combination that makes her stand apart, not just as a player but as a person. This performance was never just a victory on the scoreboard. It was a declaration, a statement about who Alex Eala is, what she is made of, and where she is headed. If this match is any measure of what is to come, she is not simply rising through the ranks. She is in the process of establishing herself as a genuine future force in tennis. So, what did you make of all of this? Was this just an impressive comeback victory, or did Eala prove something far greater about her mentality and character? Do you think Siegemund's constant interruptions crossed a line, or were they simply part of the competitive reality of professional tennis? And perhaps most importantly, after witnessing this performance, do you find yourself agreeing with Prakash Amritraj that Eala truly has what it takes to reach the very top?